Hello, everybody. Welcome to FMF at Disney. My name is Linnell, your lovely podcast host. What does FMF stand for? Well, it stands for Fat Man Friendly. Just something that I kind of came up with. Well, not really, but not original, but just something to think about. Been planning a lot of vacations with my wife, and I really want to make sure I get the most bang for my buck. So trying to go places that are, rides that are cool and, that people like myself can get on. So that's kind of the whole purpose behind this. And most recently, we were on a Disney cruise. Yeah. And so I thought it'd be cool. I had a lot of questions before I went on the cruise. So I thought it'd be cool to just kind of answer some of those questions. So we're going to dive right into it. All right, here we go. So this section that we're going to be talking about, this part's really going to be about the ship itself. It'll be fun things like that. What I'll also do is what I like to call the FMF rating, right? So it'll be a rating between 1 and 5. 5 being, hey, no worries. You're not going to, have any issues with the ride or the participating in anything like that. And then the 1 being not very fat man friendly, aisles a little tight, chairs a little scary. We've all, some of us have had those issues. So, but that's kind of what I'll do. So I'll be kind of shouting out a FMF 5 or an FMF 3 here and there. So that's kind of what that whole measuring scale is all about. But like I said, we're going to really focus on the ship itself, just everything about the ship. So the ship that we were on was the Disney Wish. It is the newest boat in the fleet. It's awesome, man. Kind of the reason I even booked this was because I was on Disney Plus and I like watching things about how ships are made, and I saw the Disney Wish on there and I was like, babe, we got to go on a Disney Wish cruise. And so we did. We pulled the trigger and we did it. So just wanted to make sure I mentioned what boat we were on. So we were on the 10th floor. We had a room with a veranda. I think they might have been even called the family room with a veranda. Oh, Moana.
Moana. Oh, I love
that room was awesome. It was a good size room. So when you first walk in, there is an aisle. It is a little tight, I'm not going to lie. So it's a cruise ship, so they're trying to squeeze as many people as they possibly can in there. I would say it was a FMF 3. So little snug when you first walk in. For me, yeah, definitely still elbow room, but if my wife and I were trying to go down that aisle together, it'd be really difficult. And she's not a big person at all. So to the left, they have, with this room, we had the split bathroom. So we had a tub and a sink in one, and the other one had the toilet and the sink. So that was kind of cool that we could split up. If you're a husband, you know what it's like to share a bathroom with your wife. It's always pretty hectic, so give her room to kind of do her makeup and things like that while I was in the shower or something like that. So that was cool. Shower was pretty cool. It was shower was good. It was weird, like the door, I wasn't sure. I didn't know the door could go both ways. So that was took me a minute to realize that it could do that. Definitely spacious enough shower. Probably give that about an FMF 4. So it was a good space in there. A little thing that my wife was like, she noticed. It's a little thing, but there was only one soap dispenser and there's technically 2 sinks. So trying to have, we'd have to pass the soap to the other bathroom or something like that. So that was just a little thing, nothing major. The other side with the toilet and the sink was, fine. Of course, if you've ever been on a cruise ship, the toilet space is tight. So, if it's a pretty tight little space in there. So that's probably about a FMF 3 for sure. So then we get to the room where the bed is. It's a queen size bed, very comfortable bed. Very comfortable bed. The space to walk to the other side of the bed. So kind of to get to where the couch is and where if you have kids, where the bunk beds are and things like that. That space, the little walkway was a little tight. It was too close. The TV was right there. So Honestly, I was like worried about knocking the TV. I'm sure it's bolted very well. So that probably that little walkway is just probably give that a FMF 4. So that walkway is a little snug. Couch was super comfortable. Really loved it. There was a huge mirror for my wife. Even if she wanted to do her makeup out there, she could do that. That was great. Space for suitcases, a big thing that a lot of I've seen it on other posts like this, things like this, was the space under the bed. You can stash your suitcase under there. So that was really cool. And then the veranda itself was very spacious. Honestly, so one of the biggest questions I had, one of the first things that popped in my mind was the chair on the veranda. There's 2 chairs and it's got a little table or foot thing, whatever you want to call it, however you want to use it. I was worried that the veranda chair, the outdoor chair was going to be a little snug, but it wasn't. It was definitely an FMF 5 right there. That space was perfect, not too big, not too small. It was plenty of space, and I enjoyed pretty much at least every night I went out there for at least 10 minutes, even though it was hot, but I did it and it was great. So the veranda was really nice. So I thought it was really cool. So I just wanted to make sure I gave us some time for our room and things like that. Getting on the boat, super easy if you're concerned about that. I mean, big thing, passport or birth certificate. I was standing in line and I saw a family of like 6 people, and the older, seemed like the grandparents of the group didn't have a passport or their birth certificate. And the lady was like, yeah, y'all, you can't go. And just seeing that family's face, just please make sure if you don't have a passport, make sure you bring your birth certificate for everybody. The Disney Cruise Line app, man, great. Please download that. I would definitely do that before you go on the trip. You can check in there early. That's where you can, book excursions. I think that starting dinner reservations. I'm going to do a podcast about the dinners, so make sure you check that out as well. But yeah, please check your checklist before you even get there. Passport or birth certificate for every single person in your group. So yeah, getting on was great. A lot of people talked about how much they really enjoyed hearing their family names said in the big area. So I was just like, I went in there, atrium, whatever you want to call it, where the big chandelier is. I was excited about that too, but it wasn't super like, mesmerizing. There was no I was like, oh, I was expecting like music to be played, but on the background behind my name, it wasn't much of anything. Some people really enjoyed that. Probably in the earlier cruises, they were a lot more involved, probably because the staff was probably around a little bit more. I don't know. It just wasn't as exciting as some people thought. One lady said she, I heard someone say she kind of shed a little tear. I was like, no, just sounds like when they call your number at the meat counter, for your sliced chicken, no big deal. But yeah, so that was cool. The boat just looks amazing inside and out. One of my favorite things was really the artwork on the boat. Just seeing, just again, watching that documentary was cool, but just seeing all of the just early drawings of, some of your favorite Disney characters, things like that. Even in the documentary, they show the ship model, and they had that model on the boat. So like kind of how the people who designed the boat, how they were talking about it, how the process was going. That was cool to see that model there. Just a really cool, there was no corner that you turn, no space on the boat. To me, that felt unplanned. Like everything felt planned, from the chandelier to the carpet. I mean, we're sitting in the elevator and looking at the wallpaper on the elevator. This ship is kind of Cinderella based. So there's a big bronze Cinderella in the lobby, or not bronze, I don't know what it's made out of, but a big Cinderella statue in the main area. And even in the elevator, the wallpaper had, the mice on there, and The lighting fixtures just had like the pumpkin carriage on it. Just little details all over the ship that were really cool. I thought they were just, again, Disney. I just did never felt like they didn't think about anything. Like everything they thought about, everything artistic, anything to express just Disney love. They found a way to do it. So I thought the ship looked beautiful, looked great. Again, every floor had its own thing that just kind of stuck out. So Brandon, like I said, the ship is new. Just a great ship for real. I really enjoyed it. Again, the app, definitely make sure you have the app. That'll help you kind of map out where the ship is and where everything is in the ship. So, and I'll kind of go through some of those things, especially places that I actually went and places that some places that I didn't that I will kind of talk about. So, all right, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. So deck two was a deck I never even went on, but that is the deck where, for the Disney Wish, where all of the kids stuff is, or the kids specific, basically the child care areas. They do not necessarily child care, but just they have age specific areas from 3 to 17. And all of those are included in your price. So when you book the cruise, so you're not going to have to pay extra for any kids 3 to 17. And then in that place, there's, for the kids, they get some one-on-one time with characters, things like that. What else? The Edge is like for the tweens. So like 12 to 13 or 11 to 13, something like that. That area is, again, all of these are they try their best to enforce like, hey, if I'm trying to go in the tweens room, they're going to stop me. If your kid looks, 15 but he's 12, maybe they'll say something, but maybe they won't. But so that room is, and all of those rooms are open most of them are open till midnight. So you can drop your kids off. They have, they have staff there to, hang out with the kids and make interaction with them. They had some like video game tournaments, things like that. Card game, just a lot of things for the kids to do that they really would enjoy. It seemed like a really cool place to be. Vibe is for 14 to 17. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if Vibe was down there. I don't think Vibe was down on deck 2. But like I said, the place for most people under 12, I think, was all down on deck 2. And then if you have a child that is 6 months to 3 years old, they do have a space for those kids, but that space is extra, something you'd have to pay for extra. So keep that in mind. All right, deck 3. Totally forgot to talk about one of the biggest parts about deck 3. Deck 3 is also where the main theater is. This is where you go to watch your shows, whether you're on first dinner or second dinner time slot. The opposite of your dinner time slot is where you have the opportunity to go watch one of the 3 shows held in the theater. That is, on the Disney Wish, there was Aladdin, Little Mermaid, and kind of like a kickoff party with Goofy trying to get his become a ship captain. All 3 shows really good. Didn't get to watch Little Mermaid, but watched the other 2. I saw the other 2. They were great. Little Mermaid, I heard, was also really good. One of my friends who was on the cruise with us said Aladdin was the best one in their opinion. So, and I really enjoyed Aladdin as well. So that is where you will watch your shows. Again, that is on deck 3. The balcony is on deck 4. All right, back to our regular scheduled program. It actually has, from where that main area is, where the chandelier and the Cinderella statue that I mentioned, that's about 3 floors up. So 3, 4, and 5, you can all look into that space. They had a stage there where they would do shows, character meet and greets happen a lot there. Side note, if you have a family or you just love getting pictures, if you're a big character person, man, the photo packet was pretty cool. We took a lot of photos. It's cheaper if you book it before you get on the boat. So keep that in mind if you're one of those type of people that trying to save a little bit here and there, make sure you book the photo package before you get on the boat. And like throughout the whole, especially that main area, throughout the middle of the boat, decks 3, 4, 5, tons of opportunities to take pictures with characters. The character schedule is on the in the Disney Cruise Line app. So once you get on the boat and say that you're on the boat and connect to the boat Wi-Fi, you get access to the schedule. So that's when you'll know when everything's happening, from character meet and greets to trivias to dinner reservations and all of that stuff. So again, the app, super helpful. Make sure you get the app. But anyway, the photo thing is really cool. There's opportunities with characters, there's opportunities without characters. There's, we went on during the Disney's 25th anniversary for Disney Cruise Line. So there were some 25, themed things like that. So the ship was kind of decked out for that. So plenty of opportunities to take pictures, whether scheduled or unscheduled, as far as like usually around dinner time, the lobby is pretty full of just different backgrounds where you can do pictures for one of the nights, for like Aladdin night. They had the magic lamp in there and stuff. So that was kind of cool. So that's the pictures. So if you're interested, if you're a big family picture kind of person, I would get the photo package. So when you walk in, you usually on the middle, right in the middle, to the left is the aft, the back of the boat. To the right is the front or forward. And I want to say more forward is, because towards the back, towards the aft is the elevators to go to your floors. Elevators, a little hectic, especially when there's lots of group activity going on. So if you can take steps, again, this is FMF at Disney, so I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of steps taken. But so elevator is a little tricky. And if you look at the top, some of the elevators have what floors they go to. So most of them go from like 1 to 11, but there's some that go 1 to 12. And then there was only one elevator on the Disney Wish, this is what I'm only referring to, that only goes 1 to 13. So like we were in room deck 10, so any elevator would work. But if you want to get to like the adults only area, which I'll talk about later, there's only one elevator that actually takes you to 13. There are ways you can walk up, of course, but that's that. Anyway, back to deck 3. Bayou was really cool. Bayou was the kind of Princess and the Frog themed bar area. Really cool. That's where you can get beignets and hurricanes, things like that. That's usually where also a spot for the live band was there a lot, and the band was amazing. Like the drummer was cool. I talked to him a little bit. The electric guitar player, the vocalist, he was amazing. Like he could sing really, really well, and his guitar playing was out of bounds. It was ridiculous. So definitely high quality entertainment if you're ever like wondering if, is it going to be boring? Is it super kid driven? It's not. There's plenty of opportunity. Me and my wife went without kids. We don't have any kids. So we went and there was chock full of events for us to do. So, and I'll get into events in another one, but really just talking about the boat. So the Bayou, like I said, kind of more forward on the boat on deck 3. Also on deck 3, there's shopping, things like that. I try to stay out of there because that's not my style. I already paid to get on the boat. I try not to pay too much more. Also, the Hyperspace Lounge. If you are a big Star Wars fan, go check Hyperspace Lounge out. Looks so cool. I'm more of a Star Trek fan. Don't come after me. Calm down. Don't attack me in the comments. But it's still, if you're a sci-fi at all, it still gave you that really cool sci-fi vibe. I was really blown away, just the detail of it. The drinks were cool. Even the bar, like, kind of felt like you're in a, outer space kind of bar. Like nothing was in its original bottle. The bottles were all kind of weirdly shaped and things like that. So they really took time again to make it really cool. That's where my favorite drink is in the Hyperspace Lounge, and I'll talk about that in part 2 of this podcast. So you want to check that out. Nightingales is also there. Nightingales is a Cinderella themed bar. And this bar actually had a live piano in there, a real piano in there. So, again, these are cruise ships, so they're not super huge. Bayou, of the 3 that I just talked about, is probably the biggest area. That's where Bayou, that's probably the biggest space for people to be. Nightingales, again, Cinderella themed, so kind of bubbly. Even the beverages are also themed with the restaurant, so they're named after characters or something like that. There's like a drink that has a glass slipper, which you'll hear about again in part 2. Check it out. Again, the decor of all of these places are really awesome. The Grand Hall, like I mentioned, where the Cinderella statue is, the chandelier and all that stuff. Also on this floor is 1923, which is one of the 3 rotating dinner reservations. Again, go into more detail about that in the food part of this podcast. So check that out. But 1923, it's based off of, when Disney World when Disney was founded. So again, the decor in there, it's kind of more fancy. Some people like Roaring 20s kind of vibe. Some people dressed up, no dress code for this, so don't worry about that. But awesome space, really cool to be. I mean, I wish I could have just walked around and just looked at all the pictures and things like that. Took some, so I'll show you some of those, but really cool space to be in. All right, let's move it on up to deck 4. Sorry, I have to interrupt one more time. Forgot another theaters on deck 4. Deck 4 is where the Wonderland Cinema and the Neverland Cinema. This is where people go to watch movies. Disney Cruises also will show the most recent movies that are out in the Disney line, I guess. So on our ship when we were there, they were showing both Little Mermaid and the new Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So those are on deck 4. Again, they're themed after Neverland, obviously Peter Pan, and then Wonderland, based off of Alice in Wonderland. Small theaters, probably seat about 80 people. So with Little Mermaid, they showed it in the bigger theater as well for one of the first time they showed it, just because it seats more people, and I'm sure a lot of people wanted to go see that. So again, deck 4 has the cinemas, which is where people can watch movies, and they show all throughout the day and night. So yeah, you would check your app to figure out when those movies are. All right, I think this is the last interruption. So sorry, let's get back to it. Deck 4 is where Luna's is. Luna's is kind of a two floor, I guess more of like a show area. So in Luna's, that's where they would do karaoke, some of the game shows, bingo night was in there, things like that. So Luna is there's 2 floors. The 5th floor is where the balcony area, the 4th floor main area. Also, there's a bar attached to it as well. So that's kind of Luna's. That's where you go for getting karaoke, things like that. That's where you'll kind of be. That is also forward. Yeah, so forward on the ship. And then what else is there? Deck 4 is also where guest services are. Guest services is where you want to go if you want to try to get a reservation. If for some miracle, Paulo or something like that is not booked up, you can book there. What else can you do? The guest service is open 24 hours a day. Remember that. I went to guest services at like 2 a.m. one time just because I had to get something done. And I was like, I don't want to deal with the crowd. So things like if you want to try to change your dinner rotation, or you want to check out some excursions or something like that, just any basic thing, guest services, but they're also available via phone from your room. So that's guest services. Also port adventures, which is, the excursions. I think if I'm not mistaken, deck 4 is also where the photo area, the that's where you can order your, book the photo package. Also, they have like kiosk where you can look at your pictures. So you can check out pictures that should have been taken for you. You use the app again and scan a QR code or something like that. And then it'll show you all of the pictures for you. So that's also on 4. And also 4 towards the aft, towards the back, is where Marvel is. Marvel is the second of 3 dinner rotation places. Again, really cool place. The just the decor, really cool. I got a couple pictures, not a lot from Marvel. They have a show at Marvel for your dinner. 1923 is pretty much just eating. Marvel, there's a show along with dinner, so check that out. Again, looks really cool. Forgot to give some ratings, but like for 1923 seating, FMF 5 for sure. Chairs were solid, heavy, were great. Same thing for Marvel. The chairs are super heavy. They even had some chairs that don't have the armrest. So like if you're, kind of, very voluptuous, you don't have to worry about, trying to squeeze into a chair with armrest. You can get right in there and get going. So yeah, Marvel was really cool. The space at Marvel was nice. Deck 5, so let's move on up. Deck 5 is where the spa is. Now, deck 5, it's kind of, I'm just trying to see it in my head. I can't remember. I think it's in the aft, but I might be wrong. But the spa and the fitness center are on separate sides. So like, don't ask me the boat terms for the sides. I don't know. But like, on one side is the spa, the other side is the fitness center. The spa, Amanda, my wife, was able to she did like a facial that they comped for her, or she got a discount on whatever. So she got to do that. The spa, they have the rain showers or whatever. So like, I don't know what they're called, but like basically rainfall showers, things like that. That it costs extra. Obviously everything in the spa costs extra. Fitness center, to go in there and work out, is free, but like, everything like that. So to use like the spa has also kind of an outdoor spa. There's another pool, jacuzzi in there, and I think that's about $190 for the entire cruise. So keep that in mind if you're, want to get a little bit more privacy for your cruise. Like if you want to sit out, hang out, people can see you from up top. So like on decks 6 or 7, people can look down into the spa. So, it's not complete privacy, but it's only accessible through the spa. And again, it's extra. So deck 5, also on deck 5 is, remember I mentioned the balcony of Luna is up there. Along the balcony of Luna is 2 other kind of bar areas. There's Keg and Compass. Off the top of my head, I really can't think of what it's themed after. But Keg and Compass, I think, was always an adult, 18 and older room. So that was more of like the sports bar kind of vibe to it. That's where sports trivia was in there. Also in Keg and Compass, there's TVs. So like when we were on the ship, Memorial Day weekend, and that was a weekend Game 7 Eastern Conference Finals. I wish I would have known that they had TVs and were showing it in there. But if you're on the boat and you want to go watch a sporting event that's happening, a major one, that's the place where you could go to watch it. I tried to watch the game in my room. The TV, the ESPN, for some reason was acting kind of funny in the room, or it was weird, probably where we were on the, in the ocean. I don't know. But I couldn't watch it right away in the room. So I didn't get to watch it at all, which I wish I would have. But anyway, so that's Keg and Compass again. Kind of I know they have some fast food, not fast food, but like just some bar treats in there that you do have to pay extra for. Things like pretzels or something like that. So again, but decor really cool in there. Like just felt like a kind of like an Irish pub to me, kind of vibe to it. So also in there on the back side of that, right next to Keg and Compass, was the Triton Lounge. This is another very, very small room. Kind of gives you the vibe of like a comedy club, but like literally probably 30 chairs in that whole room. Comfortable chairs, a little low, probably an FMF 4, not gonna lie. They were a little weird. So that was a small space, again, small stage, like a step up. So like gives you a comedy club vibe. They did little karaoke events in there, some trivia nights. So things like that, small spaces, things you can do like that. So I would, yeah, that I did go a lot in that room a lot because there was really for scheduled events, things like that. Also on deck 5 is Mickey's Main Sale. That's where you would go for your souvenirs. So of course, my wife was in there right away. Cool, not a cool thing, but just a pointer about the stores. Any place where you can buy, items, the jewelry stores, the souvenir stores, all of them are they are closed when we're at a port. So they cannot be open when the ship is at port. Not till they get out to sea is when they actually open those things. So if you're like, oh man, let me go check out the store, and you're at the Bahamas, it won't be open. So just wait till you're out to sea for it to be open. And also on deck 5 is Arendelle. Arendelle is the third and final dinner spot. That is where, your dinner rotation. Man, Arendelle was honestly, that was probably my favorite decor of the. It's really cool. Like it looks just like you're in the castle from Frozen. Kids will love it. I mean, I liked 1923 probably a little better because I like seeing all the old, artwork and things like that. But Frozen, I mean, Arendelle from Frozen, really, really cool design. And in that place, they have that's another show for dinner. And this one is the Marvel show was all digital on a screen, things like that. The one in Arendelle is live action. So there's characters there. They have a mechanical Olaf who kind of comes around. The way the place looks, it's kind of a round stage kind of vibe. So it's a big square, and in the center is a stage. Kind of like if you think of like if you're one of those old shows, where they have a big dining hall. That's kind of the vibe, and in the middle was a stage. And the characters came around, took pictures with people. So it was really engaging, even though, with the stage, with the show going on, in between the show, they came around and saw people. So really cool experience, decor, great, food, great. I mean, from the plates had Arendelle themes on them. It was really cool to be a part of. So definitely enjoyed Arendelle. So 6 and 7 are mainly rooms. I did not spend a lot of time on the outside of the floors because I know, I can't remember what floor. I'm not going to try to guess, but one of the floors are shuffleboard. I think I'm going to say 4 because when we did our emergency drill, I think I saw shuffleboard, and that was on 4. But deck 6, so if you get off on deck 6 and go outside, if you head towards the front of the ship, there'll be some steps you can go up, and then technically on 7 is where you can get all the way to the front and do your, Titanic pose, kind of hang off the front, wind blowing in your hair. You won't hang, but that's the farthest front of the boat you can go. If you're in your room and there's a channel that says bridge view, where you can actually see what the bridge is seeing. If you go to that channel, that's the area that I'm talking about. You can see, you can get to just the point of the ship, as close to the point as you can get, yeah. So that's where you can go and kind of see that. So that's pretty much 6 and 7 are mainly rooms, but on the outside, that's where you can go to do that. So if you want to picture, at the very front of the boat, that's how you can do it. Deck 8 is the laundromat. Did not spend any time there. So that's also rooms, of course. So I have no idea where it is, but I heard it looks nice. Deck 9 and 10, also kind of just rooms type of vibe. So on deck 11 is where you're going to spend a lot of your time eating. That's where the 2 main areas of food are. In the aft of the boat on the inside is where Marceline Market is. Marceline Market is if you've ever been on a cruise, it's where your buffet area is, where they have plenty of, key little areas where they're kind of themed food areas. You do not serve yourself, they serve you. So that's really cool, really hygienic, really clean feeling. So you can go there and they'll serve you. They even have an outdoor area for if it's a nice day. There's tables on the outside. You can sit out there. And also when you first walk into Marceline Market, there is a hand washing station. So really cool area that they took some time making sure that worked out. So that's the inside on the aft side of deck 11, Marceline Market. All right. Midship on deck 11, outside is where the pools are. So the pools, there's some more little stationary bars and where you can get ice cream and things like that, and Dole Whips, things like that. Also, that's where the younger kids play area, things like Toy Story themed. That's also on deck 11. But I think that's deck 11 forward, staying outside. But like I said, midship deck 11, they cover up one of the pools. I think there's like 3 pools, so it's supposed to look like Mickey. So like the 2 ears and then the head. So that's how they kind of look if you're looking from a drone or something like that. Not very big, not very deep. To me, kind of a little gross, probably high in chlorine to make sure kids and things like that. So if you're under 18, that is all for you. If you're over 18, I'll talk to you more about some pools. But yeah, and also that's where they do the kickoff party. Outdoor is right there. Pirate night, fireworks, things like that. That's kind of where that will all happen, is deck 11 midship. And again, it's a big event, so elevators are going to be really crowded after and before that event. So plan accordingly for all of us FMFs. All right. So then forward on deck 11 on the outside, kind of past the pool area, that is where Festival of Foods is. That is where you can go to get fast food kind of style foods like your burgers, your chicken strips, your burrito bowls, pizza. They had some barbecue options. All of that is outside. That's also where some drink stations are, like for your pop and your water and some juices. I think they had juices out there. So that's kind of where you would go for your quickie options. Very good out there. Go into more detail about that in the other area. Also on deck 11, there's another gift shop up there. All right, deck 12. Deck 12 is a pretty busy deck, so it's kind of weird. So deck 12, aft, deck 12. That is where Hero Zone is. Hero Zone is where they have like some basketball courts. There's a small track, ping pong tables, bags, things like that. Kind of where people kind of, team activities, where if you want to kind of get some be a little active, they got like a half court basketball court in there. That's where they had like the 3-point contest, free throw contest, things like that were done in the Hero Zone. That is also where I cannot remember the name off the top of my head, But that's where the 18 to 20 somethings area is. I'm gonna remember the name, and I can't remember, but they have an area for 18 to 20s. That's where their kind of area is on deck 12. Also on deck 12 is the Rose, and which the Rose is a very, very nice bar, Beauty and the Beast themed. These restaurants, again, 18 and older, so you won't have any kids in there. Probably one of the best views from inside is at the Rose. Huge, floor to ceiling windows, probably even, kind of curve behind you. So I would definitely go check out the Rose if you're over 18. And that is also how you get to Palo and in Enchante, sorry. Palo and Enchante, which are the two dinner spots that are reservation only and out of pocket paying. So Palo, which I got to go to, which I'll talk about again in the food part of this podcast. And then Enchante, I didn't get to go to, but Palo, kind of based off of Cogsworth, the clock from Beauty and the Beast. Enchante is, Lumiere, the candlestick guy. So really cool. They look great. The row, like when you walk into the room, like into the Rose, entrance of the Rose, like it's glass door, so you can't even see in there. So all those kids who are under 18 probably just like, I want to go see. But go in there, and they actually have the Rose that's in the West Wing and the mirror right there. So that's kind of cool. Joyful Sweets, that's also on 12. I said it was on 11. It's on 12. Kind of a out of pocket dessert area. So like they have some not ice cream, but the fancier ice cream. Can't think of the name right now. It's gonna come to me later, and I will tell you what it is when it comes to me. Gelato. There it is. Right. So they have that there, and again, that is something you have to pay extra for. So check that out as well. So 12 is one of those 8. Outside on 12, there's also kind of so when you're outside on 12, it kind of looks over deck 11 where the pool and stuff is. So that's kind of a spot where you can go stand if you want to watch the shows. But again, crowded type of thing. So deal with that if you can. So, and then finally, deck 13. Deck 13 is the adults only area. So again, I mentioned the elevator. You can only get to deck 13 through one elevator, one set of elevators, and they're only the aft elevators. So the forward elevators, you can't even, I don't even know if they have a 13. I didn't spend much time forward on the ship. Most of my time was spent in the aft. So, but in the aft of the ship, you can take the elevator to 13, or if you get off on 12, they have some steps that kind of go up to 13. Again, that's supposed to be the adults only area, so 18 and up. Really cool, really, kind of quiet area in the back there. So on the way to the back, when you go up the steps, you walk towards the back, there's a hot tub right there. So there's area, probably less urine. And then there's a kind of like a feet only pool area. And then also there's a infinity pool that kind of looks over the back of the ship. Kind of small. All the pools are honestly a little small for me. Not like I can't fit in it small, but more than 10 people, it probably gets uncomfortable and tight in there. So that's kind of what I was referring to when I say small. So that's the adults only area that's outside. And also up there, which I didn't get to go to, is Cove Cafe and Cove Bar. Back of the ship, adults only, lots of, that's where people can go to get coffee, things like that. They have treats and things like that back there. So that's kind of what the adults only area kind of gives you. So that's pretty much everything. I tried to go kind of quickly. As you can hear, the ship offers so much. And just I can't do it all in one of these. So I would definitely, maybe subscribe, check it out. If there's any questions you have, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Let me know. I'll do my best to answer any questions. I might redirect you to one of the other podcasts that I mentioned, all of those things. So There'll be a podcast coming specifically for food. There'll be one specifically for entertainment. And then there'll also be one kind of some do's and don'ts that kind of helped that I wish I would have known before I went on the ship. So if you enjoyed, again, follow, share, click the little bell so you can so I can let you know when the next one's coming out. This is pretty much all I'm going to be doing, just about the Disney Wish, but if more of you enjoyed, I might do a little bit more things like that. So hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast, hanging out with me. So hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. All right, FMF Disney. See y'all next time. All right, peace.